Hi guys, Dave in Texas here, and what you're looking at is the measurement video. Okay, but before I start this measurement video, first of all I want to say a shout out to one of my best friends in England, China Guitar Skeptic. He's on YouTube. Please visit his channel. A lot of great videos he has to show you. And another buddy up in Canada, Dave's World of Fun Stuff. Great guy, I love that guy. He's always wearing my t-shirt, which I appreciate. And another buddy in Australia, DMS guy, okay? So you guys, I love you. Thanks for all the support you've given me. China, thanks for all the support you give me in creating my entrance video. Dave, thanks for wearing my t-shirt. And DMS, thanks for supporting me. Anyway, guys, also before I do this measurement video, I want to go over one thing, once again, maybe for the last time, I hope. After I ran the video on the counterfeit guitar, I got this box in the mail, and I was thinking, well, it's the size of a StewMac box, which is obviously it is a StewMac box, but it was wrapped in brown paper, addressed to me, had a returned address on it from California. And I open it up and take a look at this, okay? Now it's full of stuff to modify this guitar here, right? Plus some Floyd Rose shims. I don't know what that's all about. And I've told you guys before, yeah, since you get my address off Facebook, please don't send me free stuff. This is a company. If you want to send something for me to test for you, I have no problems with that. You know, I've done that plenty of times. But just to send me stuff for free, it's really nice. I'm not an end great. I appreciate all this stuff you sent me, but it's expensive. Okay, just that's all there's to it. It's not cheap. You sent me 400 or 500K pots. You know, Gibsons, like I've always liked. You sent me a bunch of these Floyd Rose shims. You sent me the antique wire to wire it up with. You sent me the orange drop caps to do the job with. The solder wire. Okay, guys, I have plenty of this stuff in my shop. But as I told you, these gifts, you know, guys, I really love it. But I don't give out names because that just encourages it to go on. And believe it or not, this is a corporation. Dave's in Texas, my music company, Johnson Music Productions, is a corporation, incorporated. And I can't really accept gifts because I have to really give them a value and put them on as taxable items for the corporation's profits. And it drives my CPA friggin' crazy. Okay, so please, guys, even though I absolutely adore the gifts you sent me, they're so sincere and nice. I appreciate it out of the bottom of my heart. Please, no more gifts, okay? Watch my videos. If you want to send a gift or you want to send something for me to test, I'll be happy to test it and send it back. That way there's no problems with the IRS, okay? So there. No more of that. Now, guys, what I'm doing here is the measurement videos, okay? I've got my Les Paul Studio Custom, right? And I've got the Counterfeit sitting side by side, right? And I've got another guitar, I've got a Black Beauty off to the side to measure it, to see the kind of variances we have, okay? Now, I'm going to use a scale up to 18 inches. I'm going to use a ruler to measure the frets and work that out between the two guitars, okay? And I have a T-square that goes up to 42 inches. I can measure the overall length of about anything on this guitar. And I have a caliper, right, to do some fine measurements, okay? So that I can get in there and really see if there's hundreds of differences, okay? So I think that should cover it. I've got some depth gauges here, micrometers, but I don't think I'll be using them. It's just not necessary to do what I have to do. But as you can see, these things are very, very close to one another. And there's one thing that's very scary about it. I'm going to show you that from the start, alright? Let me cut away and change the position of the guitars. Let you see what I'm talking about right off the bat and why I call these counterfeits. Why they're meant to fool people. Hang in there. Okay, guys, now first of all, if you look here, I'll just point at them. You're looking at a Gibson Truss Rod nut and a Gibson Truss Rod nut. Can't see it from my viewer. Anyway, yes, it's smaller than the other one, okay? It's definitely smaller. Let's zoom in and let's take a look. I also want to make sure that I zoom out so you see I'm talking about the same guitar and I'm not flipping around or trying to do some video trickery that somebody's going to mention. But there it is, guys. That's the Gibson shaped nut on this thing. Alright, that's the way it is. They've gone in and made it usable. Now all you got to do, let me show you. See, now see, it's on that same fake guitar. Alright, there's the real one to the left. There's the fake or the counterfeit to the right. Zoom in on it, let you know that's the one I'm talking about. Okay, you can see up there on that spot that's bad on the binding up there. Well, I'll flip it over and oh hell, trust me guys, that's what they've done. Okay, that's the first thing they've done to make this a counterfeit. Because I used to tell people, just simply open it up, look inside the truss rod, you'll see a Gibson nut or you'll see nothing. Now what they've done, I've taken this apart and they've got a truss rod in here. This does work, okay? And they've taken off the old rectangle or the Allen key nut and replaced it with this and glued it on. That's simple. It's just screwed on, glued on, basically. And yes, it does work. The truss rod does work. Okay, so that won't tell you if it's fake or not. And one thing that's different is, guys, there's a lot more space on the Gibson, get in there with your tool, than there is on the counterfeits. And this one's smaller than this one. You have to use a different size tool. Okay, now Gibson does have different size acorn type truss rod nuts. I've seen them, I've worked with them, it's just that's the deal. Alright, so anyway, there you go. That's the first part of the counterfeit I wanted to tell you about. That's what's spooky, because no longer can you just open up the truss rod cover and go, oh, it's missing the Gibson nut, because there it is, guys. Alright, so now they cut away and I'll switch around and start doing these direct measurements. But that's the first one. That's the first counterfeit spooky thing. Okay guys, now we're doing a kind of a side-by-side. I'm trying to get this straight as down as I can on both guitars to do these measurements with, but I may have to switch around like back and forth kind of like this, you know, to do it. I'm just going to let, yeah, there you go. It's a little bit easier to turn it. Just on my slick tripod, it's all I can do. I can't hang this from the ceiling, I just don't have anything to hang it from. And one other thing, guys, I will be changing out that truss rod nut for the regular fake one. You know, I have to go out and buy one to fit it. I'm pretty sure I know the size. But that's coming off. I have to use some steam and some glue to get it off without breaking the truss rod, but I will get it off this guitar so that no longer is going to be an issue. You get me? Okay, now I've changed nothing on this guitar. It's still original. This guitar is still all original. You can see it's got the original Gibson bridge. Okay, you zoom in on that. The tune-o-matic, the tom, the crap-o-matic, it's got it on there. Okay, you can tell by the tiny little leg points on it compared to the Epiphone type deal, right? But that's a very easy thing to, you know, exchange and change out. You get me? Very simple to do. It's not cheap, but it's simple to do. Now, on the polished up work on these, you can see the difference. Even though this is 2008, you can see the polish up difference on these guitars hardware. This is still nice and shiny, even though it's like 10 years old. Yes, it's been played. It's in great condition. It's not been binged or banged around at all. There is more of a luster on this hardware than there is on this hardware. Well, you can tell that too much with my camera, but there is, trust me. It's more shiny, it reflects my face much better, which I don't want to use as a mirror, but it could be. And that's an issue. Alrighty. Now, let's get down to some simple, hard measurements and show you some differences here. And I'm not going to take these guitars apart yet. I'm just going to go from the outside, okay? So here we are. I'm going to go to center line on this measurement. as best I can. It looks like it's about a little less than 3.5. Let's see, that's in 16s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3 and 6/16 from center line to center line on these posts right here. All right, let's go to the Gibson. Remember that number, 3 and 6/16. Okay. Now I'll make sure I zoom in to show you I'm not fudging anything. I can't move the camera around too much. I'll be here all day long doing this thing. So now, center line to center line, 3 and 6/16. Same thing, guys. All right. Same center line on these holes here. That's a problem. You can switch out a Gibson part for this one just readily. Okay. Now, let's go to since we're over here. Let's go to this one's pneumatic bridge. Remember, this is a telltale sign that you can change out. And let's go center line. On this is 3 inches. From center line to center line, it's about 3 inches. From this point here to this point here, it's about 3 inches. Now, what is it on the fake or the counterfeit? What's the center line on the counterfeit on its bridge? Its fake bridge. Well, it's 3 inches. Again, it's 3 inches, okay? 3 inches, right? That's a problem. That means you can switch this out for that out, no problem, no big deal. Okie dokie. Now, let's do this. Let's measure this point. Oh, sorry. Let's measure how far away these knobs are from the tailpiece, right? The distance between here, and see what we come up with. That's a rough estimate, guys, a rough measurement. Let's flip this around. So from center line to the tip of this thing is 1, 2, 3, 4/16. 1 4/16 about. You'd say that, okay? 1 4/16. Let's see what it is over here on the real one. All right. So on the real one, it's 1 4/16, but it's much. This is much higher. It's up higher this way than this one is. This one is almost in line with the top of this adjustment screw. Almost, but not quite. And this one over here, let me show you. There's one thing to spot. You know, if you have good eyes. Alright, see how much deeper this is away from this top of this? And see, look at that. There's a big gap there, guys, but it's the same distance from each other. Alright, from the tail end to the center line of that first knob, it's the same. Now, how much difference will there be on the next one? Let's try to get that measured out. Alright, so it's about 3 and 1/16 to the center line of this knob here. From this post here, 3 and 1/16 to that one. And remember, it's going to be actually lower than the real one. The counterfeit's going to be lower, right? Because they're already out of position. Okay. So from center line to center line, it's 3 and 1/16 again. But it's not anywhere near the same height level. Let's see if I can figure out what to measure against to get that height. I may have to fill out my caliper to do this, guys. Well, there's nothing really readily. Well, wait a minute. No, it's nothing really to measure against. But it looks like the distances from this to this to this, they're all the same on both guitars. That's a problem. Alright, because just by viewing them, they don't look right to me, because I'm looking, you know, but if you're not comparing them to anything in your hands, they look pretty damn close. Okay? Now, next thing we're going to do is measure the distances between the knobs. Now, since we're already up here on the real one, let's see what we got from center line to center line. Alright, from about center line to center line, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6/16. 2 6/16 from center line to center line. Alright? Let's do it the same over here. Alright, center line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that's 2 6/16. Right? Or 1/3, that's something like that. Bear with me if I'm wrong. Between the lengths of these knobs. Okay? We'll get the widths with them in just a minute. So let's back this up a bit. We'll get the measurement on the knobs. And I think this is going to be different here. It's going to be longer than 2 16. Okay, let's see. Now I got to get the camera out of the way. Sorry guys, the tripod's in the way. Okay, it's from center line to center line. We're looking at 2. Well, shit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 and 6/16, same thing, no difference. It's just optical illusion because of different type knobs. This one, the same thing with 2 and 6/16. Let's see if this one is 2. It may be the short one. Yeah, it's short by 1/16. This on 4 exactly. This one is closer to this one than this one, and you see it. You know, looking straight down at it. It's 1/16 closer. Now, what about the gap between them? Let's measure that. Alright, that's about 15/16. 1 15/16. Both of them 1 15/16 apart. So let's go to the Les Paul. Remember that number. Now I can hardly see this darn thing. Hold on guys, it's black. Main thing is while I'm using this, I've not made any I've not done anything different to this guitar. It's all original. Alright, center line, center line. What did I say? Between the two? 1 15/16. Okay, let's go. Whoa, let's go center line on this one. 1 15/16. Two inches. Okay, so there's a little difference between these two on this guitar. This is a little different. Make sure I measured that right. But yeah, this is a little bit wider. This is 1/16 wider. You can see it now. On it. There's the 16th right there. Yeah, it's 2 inches. You can't get around that. This one is wider. Now, is that a mistake or is that the way it lays? It may be. Okay, but the height difference is where this is located, right? Compared to this is where it's located. That's my main concern. So let's just do this. These are both standard pick guards. Let's do this, guys. Let's measure the distance that pick guard to that part from here to here. Let's go about the center line of that pick guard to the center line of that knob, about 2 and 8, 9, 10/16. 1 10/16. See what it is over here on the counterfeit, alright? Camera's in the way again, darn it. Right, there's the deal. Tip about 2 inches. There's a problem there. This is actually further away down, alright? So there you're starting to see some glaring differences. Like I said, this is too low, this is too low. The real Les Paul is higher in positioning, but overall, they're about the same. Now the gap between this counterfeit, the gap between the counterfeit is about the same gap as the rest of them, all right? Except the Les Paul is actually 1/16 bigger gap on the two front knobs. Holy cow! Okay. All right. Next to measure. Let's measure the gap between the tailpiece and the bridge. Right. Let's just go center line. Just don't make it real fancy. All right. So we're looking at 1 1/4. 1 1/4. Alright, you see that? 1 1/4? Let's make sure you can see that. Sorry guys, to move this around, I gotta undo it. I gotta make it loose to move around, but then I gotta tighten it back up to do this. So I'm trying to do some good video for y'all so you can see it without just trusting my word for it. So you can see the measurement itself. And my tripod's not cooperating too well. Now I'm taking it from the center part of the part, the very tip of this. Alright? You look straight down at it, it's around 1 1/4. See if I can do that with the camera. Darn it. You see it's 1 1/4 now? Tip to tip, part to part. Bear with me guys, because all this, there's nomenclature all over the face of my camera, like photo and icons and stuff that gets in my way. I can't see a lot of this shit on here. Okay, here we go. We're going to measure the real one compared to the counterfeit. Now, what's the distance? Bear with me, I have to stand up to do this. Aha! Big difference, 1 inch, guys. There's 1 inch difference between this one's tailpiece and the bridge. Let me show you. 1 inch. Now if you look straight down at it. Oh hell. Okay, you can see that's 1 inch. And what was this one again? It was 1 1/4 inch. So there's a 1/4 inch difference between the gaps between these guitars. So that's something else to look for, guys. Now, is that going to change the things as far as the scale? No, because this, I've already measured the scale is correct. Okay? It's right on the button. So hang in there, guys. Alright? Since we're here, let's measure the difference between the pickups. Let's back it up so you can see. Of this, I'll be able to do this. Alright? Let's go from bracket to bracket. Okay? Here are 2 and 4, 5, 6, 6/16. 2 and 6/16. Between these two. Okay? That's bracket to bracket, not pickup to pickup. Bracket to bracket. I don't think you'll be too surprised about this, but it's 2 and 6/16, guys. Again, looking straight down at it, it's 2 and 6/16 difference. And both pickups on the neck are flush against the neck itself. Same for the real one, it's flush up against it. And the pick guards, as you can see, are actually perfectly placed on both guitars. See that little gap right here? Right? See the gap over here? That. Let's get the width of the pickups. There's no question about that. I'm just doing brackets, guys. The length of this pickup is 3 and 10/16. Okay? Let's go up to the front one. Yeah, they're magnetic, all right. Same thing, 3 and 10/16. Anyway, the reason I'm doing all these measurements, guys, some of the redundant ones, is so that if there's something, not obvious that's to the eye, or a simple measurement you can make, without being, obtrusive about it, about calling the guy a liar or a thief. That's what I'm trying to find for y'all. And it used to be, like I said, it used to be the nut for the truss rod. Well, that's no longer the case. So here we go. This is magnetic, obviously. And we're on the bet. It's... Uh-oh, there's a difference. There is a difference. This is 3 and 8/16. You'll look real close. See that? Well, wait a minute, I'm sorry, it is 10/16, sorry. 3 and 10/16s, 3 and 10/16s, they're both the same width, right? Let's just get the depth of them, just in case. I'm pretty sure they're the same. And measuring the brackets, not the pickup. 1 12/16 on the bracket width. Alright, 1 12/16 on that one. Okay. You can see that or not. Yeah, you can see it, okay. Okay, so is 1, that's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12/16. 1 12/16. They're the same width, okay? Now the gap between the two, I want to make sure I get that, guys. I want to get a gap between the two pickups. I'm pretty sure they're going to be exactly the same. Alright, the gap between the two pickups, about 2 1/4 inches. That's 2 1 4 5 6 7. 2 7/16. There's a difference. Ah, wait a minute, I measured that wrong. 2 7/16 on both of them. Both have a gap of 2 7/16 between the two. So the placement of the pickups are exactly in the right spot. Let's get the angle of the bridge that taken care of with a protractor. Hold on, guys. Okay, what I've done, guys, I've measured this is 15 degrees. Right, the angle on this, the counterfeit, it's also 15 degrees on the real Les Paul. All right, center line on the strap button. It's off center, on the center. Okay, because here's center line, right? You can see it's a little bit, you know, off of it. Let's go to the real one. Here's the center line. It's a little off too. About the same amount, not much difference. It's below the center line. All right, which makes sense. It's, you know, for balancing. Okay, now let's start measuring these bodies. Now you can already tell the height or thickness of the counterfeit is different. It's thicker. It's a thicker piece of wood. That's all there is to it. Alright? You can see it's the thickness of the binding difference. That's how much difference there is. That's not a lot, but you know, that is kind of a tell. And see what we shall see on the thickness. Now it's only single bound. Looking at about 2 inches exactly. You can see that, 2 inches. Yeah, it's just a little bit thinner by 4/16, a quarter of an inch. It's thinner. All right. So you can tell that by just sitting them, you know, side by side. Anyway, like I said, this is the one I've not changed anything on. It's all still original. All the others I've changed and modified them dramatically. So it's like somebody's going to say, oh, you know, you changed that one up so much you can't compare them. All right, let's go with just overall width of the body. And what I'm going to do is take it across the main beam of it, right across here by the knobs. And I'm not going to scratch the crap out of it for y'all. I'm just going to kind of lay it across there, and we're looking at between the knobs 13 inches. It's 13 inches across. Let me show you that over here on the camera. Okay. Alright, see that? It's 13 inches. Right between the knobs, kind of the widest point on it. I can. It's 13 inches too, guys. They're both 13 inches. Alright. You look straight down. You have to keep in mind I can't just scratch the crap on my guitars. Anyway, 13 inches, guys. Let's do something else. Let's measure from the tailpiece to the bottom of the guitar. Go center line to the very edge of that. Is 5 1/2. Alright, 5.5. Alright. It is 5 10/16, guys. 5 10/16. You see this? It's almost black, but there it is. It's 5 10/16. The tail's obviously closer to the bridge on the real guitar. And that's where the real placements have been. Okay? Let's look at the knob again. Let's look at the knob to the bottom of the guitar straight down. So I get to the shaft this time instead of just the tip of the knob. Yeah. Go under it. 2 6/16 to the center line. Alright, let's try it on this. Let's try the real one. That one is 2 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. 2 10/16. Right? To it. Makes sense? Let's get an outside measurement. Let's go from the outside of that top knob to the outside of the body. 1 5/16, guys. Right to that one. A little bit over. 1 5/16 close. Let's see what it is on the real one. Yeah, there's a big difference. This is 1 inch. Right, guys? It's pressing up against the body of the pot. And it's 1 inch. You see this? I'll make sure you can see this. There's a big difference. It's 5/16 of an inch difference. You press it down, look straight down, and it's 1 1/16 at the most. Alright? Actually, it's just about 1 inch. That's a big tail, guys. Now, is it easy for a noob to spot that? Hell no. A pro to spot it? Well, maybe, maybe not. It just depends. Like I said before, these guitars are meant to fool people once you make all these changes to them. And if you have so many changes done to them internally and externally, it makes it even harder to tell. You follow me? It just makes it much harder to tell. Now, are there some screw-ups on this one? Yeah, I think so. On some of the relicking they did, and at some of the polish up they did with the nitro, the finish is not just really good. Alright. Now, one other thing I wanted to make sure to cover, guys, was the horn shapes. Right? So I got my caliper and my scales out, so hang in there while I switch these guitars around to face me so we can get these horns measured up and get that out of the way. Okay, so I took the pick guards off, so it would be no squabbling about that. But you can see, guys, it's pretty darn close. These curves almost are identical. Not a heck of a lot difference. Nothing you can see by eye that easily. You follow me? Let's do the measurements on them. I'm going to go tip to tip, right across to the body. Alright, so I'm measuring from the tip, the very apex of the tip, to the edge of the neck binding. Remember I said binding. And it's 3 2/16. Alright, now, for the real one. There's always a contention about the shape of these horns, the thickness of them, the way they curve, whatever. Alright, so I'm going from the binding here out to the very apex of the middle of this tip as best I can. And it's 3 1/16. Alright? You see down, it's 3 1, it's 1/16 difference. I dare you to say that you can see that with your eye. 1/16 difference. Okay, now let's measure on the counterfeit where the curve on the horn stops and goes and touches the fretboard on the edge of it. What fret does it touch? And this is very simple. Alright? You measure across. Alright, let's see, that's 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So it's right in the middle fret. Okay. Well, actually on the edge of it. It's right below. Alright. The tip of the horn goes right alongside the bottom fret right here. Okay, now let's flip the real one around and get the counterfeit out of the way for a second, so you can see this. I don't think I'm pulling any, fast ones with the video. You can see this a little better. Make sure I don't think I'm pulling tricks. Same thing. It's right in the middle. Right in the middle of it, just right up and down. There's no question about it. They both hit in the same spot across the bodies. That way. All right, let's go to the bottom of the curvature of the cutaway. Bottom of the curvature. Where does it hit on the fretboard? All right, I would say that hits right there on the top of the last fret. Make sure you can see this. There it is. It's right there. There's the end of the curvature. There it is on the fret. So it's touching the top of that fret. Alright, the hole is. Let's go to the other one. Where is it located? Same thing, guys. Look at this. Alright, now it's on the, it's just a tiny bit above the last fret. Not much, but just a tiny bit. Let's square this up. So it's that, maybe a 1/16 of an inch difference, a 32nd. There's not a hell of a lot of difference, guys. Of course, that could be just in the binding itself, causing some changes in the measurements. But I'd say that this curve's the same. This cutaway's the same. It comes in on the very same locations as the real one does. So I don't know how you can call that different or drooping or whatever. It's probably just the coloration of it, plus the angles I shoot at. But you can see from the scales, there's just a tiny bit of difference. So you can't not possibly see on the video. Okay. So all the rest to measure about that curvature. Let's get the hump issue taken care of. Where does the hump come into play as far as where does it hit on the fretboard? Let's scoot this camera down. Get here closer. I want to show you the hump. Where's the hump of the guitar go? See this? See where it's hitting? Right there. Right there, even with this fret line here. See that? It's even with that fret line, right in the middle of that fret line. Okay? That's pretty clear, isn't it? And you can see, it does not end up straight. There is some curvature to it as it goes into the body itself. It's not just, flat back into it. The curve still remains, even to the point where it touches the fretboard itself. Okay, so where does the curvature, the hump of the top of the guitar touch on this one? Well, if you look, it's below it, but still it has that curvature to it. Not coming straight across, but just below. Well, it's not center line like the one for the Les Paul, the real one, but it's just below it. And that's a 1/16 of an inch difference. That's hard to tell, but look for this as a tail. Keep in mind these things I'm telling you are different. They can spot easily. Alright? Now if this had binding on it, it would be above that mark. It would not be even with this fret. Where are you? It would not be even with this fret. Not right below it, it'd be above it. Right? It'd be above it. So you can tell it'd be above this particular fret here. Okay? Those are some tells to keep in mind about how to spot these, so you don't get cheated. Now guys, remember, I am all for people owning whatever they want to own. I've never said, oh, you shouldn't buy one of these based upon it's a counterfeit and you're going to cheat somebody out of their money. I've always said you're wasting your money on because you could buy a nice Epiphone, fix it up, have it play just the same, right? And be able to sell it, if you don't like it. These you cannot legally sell. Once you've got it, you've got it. It's yours. And I can't think of too many guitarists that want to keep a guitar for the rest of their life. They always want to, exchange and trade them. That's the way guitarists are. So why get stuck with one where you can make one sound just as good, play as good by taking an Epiphone out, that $300-400 Epiphone, and putting the Gibson parts on it. Go trade it, right? If you don't like it. or buy a used one. Wait and save your money up, buy a studio, like a $1,200 custom studio. You get one of these for 1,200 bucks. I think still you get one, well, 14 with case, right? Like the one I'm showing you right now. Or wait and put another 400 bucks in, $1,800 for a used standard, you know? And they're all in good shape. No one tears the shit out of the guitars. No, on purpose they don't. Okay, now, what else can I show you as far as measurements are concerned? I need to show you size of decals, logo positionings, shape of the headstock itself. I've already shown you the nut, what they've done to screw people out of their money with that. You know, Jesus, couldn't believe. When I opened that up, guys, I was shocked. Like, oh shit, that's not a good thing. So anyway, what else? All right, joining of the bodies. Here's something to consider. All right, if you look closely on this studio, you'll see that the joint has a backward slant to this. See this? And there's a gap here, obviously. Well, the gap on the Counterfeit is bigger. Now let me show you. The gap on the Counterfeit is bigger. See that? Much bigger. And it's not slanted backwards. See that? That's something to keep in mind. That's an old tale, though. I think, yeah, we've already gone over the binding and all that shit before. That's old stuff. But still something to consider, right? Now, can these things be changed and fixed? Oh yeah. You know, now I point these out. These guys will be, you know, see these videos and go, hey, I can fix that. I can take a rasp file and just file it down, restain it, boom, it's done. You know, they'll never know the difference. And you do a good job of changing these things up, mod them up. It's very hard to tell the difference. But some things, you know, like original drill holes, like having that bridge too low, sorry, having the tailpiece too low, that's hard to hide those. You know, on a flame or on a burst guitar, that you've made some movements on it. But they could change those in China any day. You know, once the counterfeiters know what we're looking at, you know what it is. We're getting up to some good stuff, guys, as far as, you know, what to look for. I think readily look for headstock shapes. Let's get to that next, guys. Hang in there. Hey guys, I'm just going to do a back and forth comparison. These are exactly the same. I put a piece of paper, traced them. They're the same. There's no difference. No one's lower, no cutaways lower than the other one. They're both the same. It's just the way the camera's showing. That's all. That's what you're seeing. Okay. This is just as sharp as this little thing here. It's just the angle that you see them on the camera, right? The Gibsons are the same. You know, this is, of course, the printed on ones are much nicer, I think, than the abalone as far as sharpness and correctness. But if you look at that real closely, that abalone, I'm sorry, the abalone, mother pearl is very, very, you know, just like the other one. Now, something else that comes up, the Les Paul, the water decal, that is a spot on, exact, you know, same. All right, now here we go. Here's some differences to look for. All right, if you look at the model position on the real one, see where the model L stops and this one continues on. I mistakenly thought they had that in the right position for a change. They don't. They have it way too far down the headstock, you know, itself. All right, and let me show you this. Headstock measurements. We're at 5 inches on headstocks and 5 inches. They're all the same, guys. They're the same length, everything. Now, is it easy enough for a counterfeiter to get it out? Excuse me while I bleed on something. Is it easy enough for a counterfeiter to take this sticker off here with some water, you know, and some water sandpaper? Real easy, you know. Just got a thin layer of nitro over it. Take that off, slide another one on there in its place, get it lower on the body, you know, for easier to hide the fact that it's a fake, it's a counterfeit. Yes, And since there will be a lot of work being done on this, and you can see these are those cheap ass press-on tuners, they'll switch those out for these. Alright? And that means you have to drill out these old ones because the new ones, shafts won't fit in there. You get these ones on here for the reel that have the locking nuts on them, right? So the press-ons. And that's a $60, $70 change to do. So you're looking at, all told, maybe $110 worth of work on the headstock itself to make it right. You know, new tuners, Les Paul sticker, put that in the back in the right spot where it belongs, but at least it's on the right angle. You know, it used to be it was cocked. Instead of being like this, it kind of turned this way, which was, you know, wrong. But now it's actually at the right angle, you know, where it should be. It's kind of, you know, the model is straight across in parallel with the, you know, flow of the guitar, the same as this one up here, but it's got kind of a curvature flow to it, like kind of like this, you know, kind of like a freehand kind of flow. But it's definitely in the wrong spot. It's too high up on the headstock itself. Again, 110 bucks, you're there. You've got that one looking just right. Now, let's do some measurements on these frets. Okay, so here's my scale ruler, right? My neck check, okay? Let's put that on there and take a look on a Gibson scale. And it just lines up perfectly, perfectly correct in all regards. It's just absolutely right, okay? Just look up and down the neck, all the frets line up, no problems there. Let's go to the real one. Same thing, they line up just perfectly. Alright, let's stand up for a second. Lines up just perfectly. The next thing to do is measure the widths of these and get a profile of both. Now I've got to find my profiling tool, but I'll show you the difference in the profile of this guitar versus this guitar, which could be equated to different models. Okay, so let's measure the widths of these frets, right? Get that done. So we're looking at 1 3/4. Right, let's go to the counterfeit. And it's 1 3/4, even with the binding on it, guys. 1 3/4 on the first fret. Okay, let's go down to the 5th fret on the real one. All right. And it, in the middle, is 1 14/16, right? Sorry, whoa. Okay, so it's 1 14/16 on it. You see that or not? Nope. 1 14/16. Okay, let's go to the 5th fret on the other one, on the counterfeit. It is 1 14/16. See that? 1 14/16. Okay. Let's go down to the widest part of this thing. Okay, 2 1/4. On the counterfeit, okay, we're on 2 1/4 as well. You see that? 2 1/4. It is 18 inches on the real one. 18 inches exactly. Alrighty. That's because I'm looking at the binding. Now, if we get off the binding down the bottom of it, I'm right up against it. So, that's the exact right scale. Okay? Alright, we're going to do this pretty quickly, guys, simply because there's so many different neck contours, but I want to show you, basically, here's the contour of the real Les Paul, this one in particular. You got the old style neck on it, big C. And you see it's got this big C neck to it. Alright, now let's go right beside it. Let's do the other one. It's more of a D style There's not a lot of difference. Okay, not a lot of difference. The real one's, you know, deeper, it's thicker, but not a lot. Not a lot of difference there, guys. Okay, again, if you look, the screws are bad. They're too big. But let's look at just some. I'll just measure some things and tell you. Okay. The cutaway circle opening for the three-way is 2 and 2/16 on the real one. Real quickly, it's also 2 and 2/16 diameter of it. They're all the same. Now, positioning on the counterfeit, how far away is it from the edge? That's a tell. That is half an inch. Okay, guys, half an inch. Alright, let's go to the real one. Where's its center spot? It's right there. Well, it's half an inch too, so hang in there. If you'll look, it's half an inch as well. Well, same diameter, same difference away the body. You know it's in the exact same spot as the real one is. Right. So next, let's take some time and flip these around, because here's something very important as far as measuring these particular cavities up. Because this, you know, if they're so much off, means you can't put a Gibson board in here, like I'll show you on the real one. Again, as you can see, the screws aren't countersunk right on the counterfeit compared to the real one, and they're much larger. Is that something simple to take care of? Sure it is. It's dead simple. On the three-way too. So hang in there while I get measurements on the electronics cutaway and show you what's inside the real Gibson. Alright, let's just go for the width first of all. And the width on the counterfeit's control panel is 4 inches. The width of the Gibson, well, it's 4 inches. The length of the counterfeit compartment is 5 and 1. Let's see, that'd be 8. 5 and 7/16, guys. 5 and 7/16. All right. That's what it is on the real one. Pretty sure it's gonna be 5 and 7/16. Alright, so that's 5, that's 8, 9. Nope, 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 nope. It's different. Where am I here? Come on, damn it, camera. It is 5 and 8/16. Maybe 9, close. Well, let's get on the edge, really. Yeah, 5 and 8/16. And what was the other one? 5 and 7. So it's 8. So it's a little off. Okay, it's a little bit off. Right? So that could cause problems. You have to have some shaping issues when you go into the body of the guitar to drop in what I'm going to show you here next. And this again is used to be, you know, fool people. Okay, so let me show you. I've already shown you the inside of the counterfeit. Let me show you the inside of this and what people can do and what people do to cheat people. Alright, now if you look inside here, that 1/16 of an inch is not going to make a damn bit of difference. See the gap in between this board? You get me? See the gap? So what I can do, I can actually take this board out of this guitar and drop it into that guitar readily. Very simple to do. Right? Except I'll have to route out or remount the holes to get these shafts, these potentiometers to go through. But say for example you're a kid and you're wondering, so you open up the truss rod cover, you see a Gibson nut, you think, well yeah, it could be. You open up the back, you see this Gibson. That's going to fool most people. Most kids and noobs and parents, this is going to fool them. And a good, huckster salesperson, the big con artist, is going to use that to prove that it's real. when it's not. But it'll fit inside that readily, guys. You know, no problem, because there's enough give around the edges of that to fit in there to cover that 16th. Okay? So that, in essence, is the measurement video. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I hope that's you know, enough information so you'll know what to look for on this counterfeit coming out, and don't get tricked or cheated. And remember, guys, even though it's got a Gibson board, it's got Gibson numbers and stuff, it's like, it's so simple, guys. Let me show you. It is so simple to get you an embosser and stamp these things in here badly like Gibson does. See how badly it's stamped on there? Yeah, it's so easy to do that. Look up the right numbers, right, for this particular kind of guitar. Stamp it on there. And a lot of these guys that do this will buy the exact guitar they're counterfeiting or cheating you with. They'll buy that same one so that you don't know. They'll use that serial number over and over again. Even take pictures of the very same one and then send you the fake with these changes made to them, depending on how, what level of expertise I think you're going to have to open this up and look or not. I want to make sure my position is real clear about these guitars and these fakes and counterfeits and what I'm doing here and why I'm doing it. I don't do this to hurt anybody, except for someone trying to steal from somebody else. That's the only reason. If you want to own one of these guitars, knock yourself out. I'm just saying there's better alternatives. Save yourself some money. But again, my main thrust is so that you don't get cheated. Your parents don't get cheated. Your kids don't get cheated. You don't get cheated by one of these counterfeits, because they're making them so close to real now. Those little things I showed you, most people get so excited about buying a new guitar. That's the last thing they stop to think of, is it real or not. It's got the real logos on it. It's got the real truss rod in it. It's got the real board inside of it. They just don't go to the details to find out, is it real or not? Because the first counterfeit I came up with 2 years ago, I had a handful of people bought it and thinking it was real. And then wrote to me asking me, is this the counterfeit you were talking about in your video? He said, yep, that's it. And they paid anywhere from $1,500 to $2,200 for it. It's like, damn, sorry guys, you should have watched my video sooner. Got an idea, or at least wrote and asked. And if you ever come across one you think is a fake and you have questions about it, feel free to write and show me pictures of it, and I'll tell you it's real or not the best I can. And also show you what to look for, tell you what to look for on these counterfeits. So, any questions about this video, any others, feel free to give me a call or write me an email or whatever. Dave's in Texas. Have a good one. Bye.